A piece of cloth, battered, tattered, torn and worn. A piece of cloth is powerful when it is a symbol of a nation, of a cause, of a wounded soul. New York City, Washington, D.C., Shanksville, Pennsylvania, almost 3,000 dead. In its wake, we bore the burdens of grief and fear. How do you go on? Baseball. Baseball did not heal. It did not fill the empty chairs at so many dinner tables. It did not bring back the more than 400 first responders who ran toward danger. But it did give us some comfort, some hope. The ballpark was our gathering place, the first place we assembled in a post-9/11 world to feel safe, to honor those lost, to thank our first responders, to cry, and yes, to smile again. The solace of normalcy, the power of routine in a world gone mad. With the rubble at Ground Zero still smoldering, the President of the United States marched to the peak of the pitcher's mound. I was there that night. And when he threw that strike, that moment breathed life into our slow recovery. So did the ballpark. As one sign in the stands that night put it, USA fears nobody. Play ball. So atop Yankee Stadium, above center field, a raggedy American flag billowed in the autumn air. It was believed to have flown on one of the upper floors of the Twin Towers, but it was more than a flag. That piece of cloth, it was us. We were torn. We were frayed. We were hurting. And yet we were still standing strong and proud. Proud to have this little diversion we hold so dear called baseball. Damn proud to come together as one and to follow this beautiful shaft of light.
The solemn tolling of the bell earlier this morning as hundreds gathered at Ground Zero in a commemoration ceremony to honor those lost 20 years ago. President Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama in attendance as moments of silence were held for each of the tragic events that fateful day. Also ceremonies at Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And a look now live across from the Battery where the Freedom Tower stands. You see the flags at half-staff here and the scene at Citi Field as we prepare for the Mets against the Yankees on what will be a very special pregame ceremony here for the city of New York, a city that stood strong then and stands strong now. It is a day that blends history and memory. And Alex, as a native New Yorker, we start with you and your strongest, clearest memory from 20 years ago.
Yeah, Tom, I can't believe it's 20 years. And it was an early morning in San Francisco for me. We were playing the Oakland A's. And like most Americans, I was experiencing a litany of emotions, from shock disbelief, horror, followed by grief, mourning, and anger. And as a native New Yorker, Poppy and Frank, there's not a day that I'm in this city that I do not think about the men and women that lost their lives.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Hey, bro, I was in Detroit playing at the time with the Minnesota Twins. One of my boys, my really good friend and brother, Oscar Guerrero, he was working at the D&G store very close to the World Trade Center. After the first airplane hit, he called me right away. He don't know what was going on. He thought it was an accident. And all of a sudden, while we're talking, the second airplane hit. This guy survived. He's still alive. But I feel the impact of the second airplane through the phone call. But I can imagine how bad everything was going on by the time throughout the phone call.
Well, I was at home rehabbing a serious tricep injury, and I was up that early in the morning because of it. I was watching the news, and I happened to see the breaking news of the plane into the building, and I thought it was just an accident. Between 5 and 8 minutes later, I saw the second plane go in, and right away I thought, my teammates are in New York City. The White Sox were here playing. I started calling teammates because I know the guys are not up that early in the morning. Finally, I got to Mike Gellinger, one of our coaches, and he was running down 42nd from the Grand Hyatt, and he was like, I can't talk right now. Something serious is going on. And I can hear the chaos, and that's all I heard for the next 24 hours.
So many emotions, the uncertainty, the confusion, the fear, but ultimately the unity that swept over this country in the wake of what had happened, from history to memory.
Please welcome representatives of the agencies that participated in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. They are accompanied by 2001 Mets teammates who played a key role in helping our city recover from the attacks. The fire department of the City of New York, escorted by John Franco and Mark Johnson. The New York City Police Department, escorted by Mike Piazza and Al Leiter. The Port Authority Police Department, escorted by Todd Zeal. New York City Emergency Management, escorted by Lenny Harris and Steve Traxel. The City of New York Department of Sanitation, escorted by Glendon Rush and Jay Payton. The New York City Department of Correction, escorted by Mookie Wilson. And the New York State Court officers, escorted by Ray Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonso.
Such a powerful and an emotional scene here. Frank, what do you think it means to these uniformed first responders to be standing on Citi Field tonight, given the occasion?
We're looking at true heroes. 9/11, they did what they were trained to do. They wanted to save lives. You know, they didn't have time to fear. They reacted, and that's why they're true heroes.
We ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we observe a moment of silence in memory of all those we lost 20 years ago, in honor of their families and loved ones, and in recognition of the heroism of so many New Yorkers in the wake of these tragic attacks. Thank you. Please remain standing for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by members of the New York City PAL Cops and Kids Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling above bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
That's two of the men who were so instrumental to this city when it unfolded. Bobby Valentine and Joe Torre. Listen to this.
Department. He has since been diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer as a result of his heroic efforts that day. Bobby and Joe, it's your pitch.
And you would expect nothing less than a pair of strikes. Joe Torre and Bobby Valentine.
And
Here's a line drive caught for out number one, and Torre is able to get back as Urshela is retired and Higashioka's coming up.
And so it was a tremendous loss for us. And he's married and 5 kids. And to think about going through the tunnel, like today when I was going through the tunnel, I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at his face.
How many pair of shoes did you go through?
Well,
Higashioka hits one into left at the wall and it's gone. Torres was running and Higashioka sends one out. His 10th of the year, and the Yankees are on top 2-0 here at Citi Field.
by the way, my brother wouldn't be happy right now.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Are you a
fan? And all Americans.
Here's one into right, back at the wall, it's gone. Gardner hits a home run to double the lead. 4-0 Yankees here in the second.
You know, this crowd is unbelievable, right?
Unbelievable.
It's just the spirit here tonight.
Judge, that's a dangerous proposition. 3-2. High fly ball into left. Back, it is gone. 5-0 Yankees. And that's the problem, trying to sneak a fastball by Mr. Aaron Judge. Frank, for all the Mets fans in your family, you better get out of here.
Yeah, that's all right. They see my grandkids are watching me in here tonight. They don't mind.
Wants to get McCann out with. High fly ball into right. Back at the wall. It is off the wall. Judge missed it. Here comes Pilar around third. Digging for third. McCann. It's 5-2.
Well, I'm here to tell you, if Judge can't get it, nobody can.
Rear 6 driven in. How about 7? And it's 5-3.
I'm telling you, I know it sounds really foolish that a leadoff walk could have led to these runs, but it is such a...
The man who delivered that chilling moment is with us, Mike Piazza. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Got to see you on the golf course, hopefully.
Hey,
Smoltzy's giving me strokes, I know that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. John was there. John was there that night and getting ready to potentially come in and try to get the save if the Braves had the lead after the 8 innings, but
that's right.
You changed all that. When you think back on that night and that swing, what comes to mind first?
I'm blessed, and I was very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time, and I felt the energy from the people, and just all of our discipline and training and everything we do as players, you just try to draw from that and stay calm in the moment, and I just remember telling myself, get a good pitch to hit, and fortunately, Steve gave me a good pitch to hit, and I didn't miss it.
Yeah. That was one of those moments where you remember where you were, even if you don't know anything about the Mets or baseball or anything. Here's Rizzo with a ground ball right side, and Lindor flashes across to get the out one way here in the 3rd inning. It's just one of those transcendent moments that just, it's almost like the sport goes away. It just was. Yeah. It was something about that galvanizing moment at Shea Stadium.
Well, and someone made a great point today, and I was talking that, it wasn't a postseason home run. It wasn't a World Series home run. And usually you think of home runs in dramatic fashion like the postseason and special moments. But, I mean, because of all that transpired that week and everything we had been through and the trepidation, like we didn't know. I mean, John remember well, is that we didn't, is it the right time? Is it not the right time? Do we need more time? Should we be doing this? Do we even want to be cheering? Do we want to be happy? Because we were still very reverent of what happened. So to have that all kind of come together in a moment and everyone just after that feel like, yes, it was the right thing to do was kind of a little bit of a relief as well.
My question to you is, having seen you and played against you your whole career, what was the jog like? Like what was that like? Did you even remember running around the bases?
No, it was euphoric. I mean, it was euphoric, and then it's just because you well know. I mean, you just still have to maintain a little bit of composure and just trying to keep it together. And so I've always tried to stay in the little bit reserved, but yeah, it was euphoric, and at the end I was cracking a little bit of a smile because I knew, wow, this is an amazing moment.
You said something really important there, and I think it's almost like you have to be of a certain age and to have lived through that time to remember that you felt vulnerable for the first time. And I remember driving down to Busch Stadium to do a game in St. Louis, and you're in a stadium, you're doing it in New York, but you're like, man, there's 40,000 people here, and it was an uneasy time.
And we were down ground zero every day that week, and then we were like, now we got to play baseball. I mean, what are we doing this for? It just didn't feel right at times. But the fact is, when all the guys and the firefighters, I mean, you guys get back out there. We need to see you. We want you to be there. And so we started getting that energy from everyone. It was just so really supportive, and it was cathartic that everyone was at the ballpark because everyone just wanted to be together and say, we know it's not going to make us feel, heal us overnight, but just the fact that it was a start was really the coolest thing.
I can't imagine you guys being here. We had to fly in. That was an eerie flight to come here, knowing what had just happened. And I can remember the same kind of thing you were talking about. I was too angry to go down.
Sure.
Right? But when I came to the park, that's when I realized we were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
This is supposed to happen.
And you guys were really gracious and, give everyone in the Atlanta family our love, because it was a special moment that we both shared.
Sport, this game has an amazing ability to heal, doesn't it? Bring people together. That's ripped into left. Baez gone. Home run game here in the third.
Turning out to be a great game.
I'll say. It was 5-0. It's now 5-4.
And the tough part is,
well, here you go. Ceremonial first pitch tonight. Bobby V. And the great Joe Torre. I mean, 2 strikes in their own right. That's got you shaking your head, Joe. Come on, that was awesome.
I warmed up in the afternoon with my wife, Allie. Are you kidding me? That's the best one I threw. She was too far away from me.
Allie's got better stuff than you.
She did today and tomorrow and the next day.
This is our great friend Joe Torre. It was great to see Bobby Valentine, and a great moment. They gave him a huge ovation here in the home of the Mets. And for you, an ex-Mets player and then Hall of Fame manager and just a great ambassador for the game of baseball. What a night this is, huh?
It's so emotional. I mean, you don't want to be sad, but you need to remember. And it was such a tough time, and there are a lot of these players who are real young, who were 4 or 5 years old, and so they obviously are getting an education.
You told a story the other day. We were on a panel, and you told a story about when your Yankee team started making the rounds and going to the Battery and going to different places, and a lot of your players didn't really know what to do, didn't know how to act. And Bernie Williams, when he went into one of these places where families are waiting to hear horrible news, said,
yeah, Bernie went up to this woman and said, I don't know what to say, but you look like you need a hug. And with that, he gave her a big hug, and it sort of loosened up. It was at the Armory, and they were waiting for results.
Boy, Taijuan Walker has just been lights out since that second inning. He's retired 5 straight, the last 4 by strikeouts.
And he helps himself with the bat, too.
Yeah. And he's just turned around and batting left-handed. Anyway, go ahead. It's a strange position to be in because you guys are baseball players and you want to be respectful.
Well, Joey, I'll tell you what. It was in that Armory that I realized that baseball had a job to do, and was our responsibility to try to get in the way of the horror these people were experiencing.
Well, we just had Mike Piazza. That seat's warm because Mike Piazza was sitting there moments ago, and you think about that moment in the city, and then your team coming back and getting to the World Series. I know it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but baseball has always been, I mean, not to go back to the Field of Dreams, but it's always been there in our country's history to help heal, bring people together. And I know you think the same as I do, that this country needs this type of thing.
And we talked about it on that panel. When your team scores, you're hugging everybody in sight. You don't even know them, and
right.
But they're your best friend now that you're at a sporting event, and it's pretty cool. I really, last year was tough without people in the stands, but tonight was amazing.
Unusual even there, of course. He remembers his teachers crying, his classmates being called out on the intercom.
Here's a fly ball to right and caught by Conforto.
Just when you think you've seen everything in every kind of documentary, there is something new and something forever that will make you never forget. And hearing bagpipes and seeing the police and the fire department and just that, which, again, competition. These guys on the field are fed through competition, but for this night, they know they got to compete. but they know what this night and this day means.
1-1 pitch is hit in the air to left. At the wall, it is gone. Out of here, and a home run by McCann has put the Mets on top. 6-5. Number 10 on the year for James McCann. And Aaron Boone went. So it's Lugo. And it's a line drive caught by Lindor. One away. High fly ball to left. Is it going to be enough? Back at the wall. Game tied. Might be two. Weird hop. Good play. Out at second. Bad throw. Here comes the runner. And Velasquez slides across as the Yankees regain the lead. Into right. Judge. One away. Aaron Judge has homered twice tonight. And he makes a diving catch to start the bottom of the ninth.
Well, he covers a ton of ground, obviously, and by his size and covering the ground as a great athlete, he can do stuff like this. And the reason you don't know much about his defense is primarily because of the park he plays in. Right field, there isn't anything, right? There's nothing to cover. So imagine.
Aaron, you guys had lost 7 straight. You lose a 5-0 lead tonight. You're down 7-5 entering the 8th inning. How important was this win? We know there's a lot of season left, but where does this one rank?
It's just another win. You know, like you said, we were kind of scuffling there for a little bit, you know, especially after winning 13 straight, and we kind of fell off a little bit. But it's just about having fun, you know, going back to our roots, going out there, competing, have a chip on your shoulder, and we were able to do that tonight. You know, when we came to the ballpark today, you know, we're on a mission, and, you know, we got this game. Now it's, you know, time to get ready for tomorrow.
You were 9 years old on 9/11, and yet you've played in New York now 6 years. What was it like, Aaron, playing in this game tonight?
It's tough to describe. You know, a lot of emotions. You know, the pregame ceremonies. Man, like you said, I was 9 years old, and I grew up in California. You know, but New York and this city, man, they got my heart and my soul. You know, so you know, when we took that field, hearing the crowd chant, you know, seeing all the fans on their feet, if it was Met fans or Yankee fans, it was something special tonight. It was more than a game. You know, we were wanting to put on a show for these fans, and yeah, what a special night. I know a lot of us remember this.
Aaron, thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the way.